Once upon a time, there was a wealthy merchant who lived in a small village. He was always busy and never had time for himself or his family. He believed that money and material possessions were the keys to happiness. One day, he heard about a wise Buddhist monk who lived in a nearby temple. He decided to visit the monk and asked him about the secret to happiness. The monk smiled and asked the merchant to bring him a small stone from the nearby river. The merchant was confused, but followed the monk's instructions. The monk then told the merchant to hold the stone in his hand and to close his eyes. He asked the merchant to think about all the things that made him happy: his family, his wealth, his possessions, his achievements, and so on. The merchant closed his eyes and thought about all the things that made him happy. As he did so, the monk slowly took the stone out of his hand and dropped it into the river. The merchant opened his eyes and realized that the stone was gone. He was surprised and asked the monk why he had done that. The monk replied, "Happiness is like the stone in your hand. It is temporary and can be taken away at any moment. True happiness comes from within and is not dependent on external factors. You must learn to find happiness within yourself." The merchant was struck by the monk's words and realized that he had been searching for happiness in all the wrong places. He learned that true happiness is not about material possessions or wealth, but about finding peace and contentment within oneself. Friends, true happiness comes from within and is not dependent on external factors. We must learn to find happiness within ourselves and not depend on external things for our happiness. Material possessions and wealth can bring temporary happiness, but true happiness comes from living a life of peace, contentment, and inner fulfillment. Remember, happiness is a choice. It's up to you to make it every day. Happiness is not something that happens to us. It's something that we create within ourselves. And the good news is that we all have the power to create happiness in our lives, no matter what our circumstances are.